also doing another two things. When I went to China 3 months ago, and we were shopping for what kind of collaboration can we have with China, I told the president of China that we import 600 billion worth of goods from China, while they import only 40 billion of goods from Kenya. 600 billion and 40 billion. And I told the Chinese president that we need to balance this trade. And because there are still many tariffs on our tea, on our macadamia, on our avocados, on our coffee, on its way to China, the good news is that as I talk to you, we are already sending a team to China because China have agreed to a bilateral trade agreement that will see the removal of all tariffs on Kenyan products so that we can expand the market. And Minister Lee Kinyanjui is seized with his team. My good friend here, Abubakar, can confirm that the negotiations are going on. It is my expectation that by September or latest October, we should have been able to have forged an agreement that will see an expanded market for our avocados, our macadamia, our tea, our coffee, and other agricultural products to the 1 billion people in China. So, and as we also, as I have said earlier, we are not only looking at that market, we already have signed and ratified last year the economic partnership agreement with the European Union, and we now have duty-free and quota-free access of our products to the 27-member, 450 million people market of the European Union. I'm asking farmers, I'm asking business people to take advantage of the negotiations that we have had in the various markets. Again, we are in conversation with America. I know they levied a 10% levy tariff on Kenyan goods, but we are at the tail end of negotiations to see what is going to happen, whether they can reduce that 10% or eliminate it altogether. So that conversation is already ongoing, and we will give you results shortly. What am I saying? I am saying we are expanding market for Kenyan goods and products. And therefore, it is important as we expand the market that we also prepare so that we are not exporting raw materials, that we are adding value to whatever it is that we are producing. And that is why the special economic zone here in Murang'A and elsewhere in the country are important ecosystems to enable us tap into the potential of the markets that we are creating. Not to forget the East African Community Market and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Market. So, to the people of Murang'A, and as you have put it yourselves, that you want to be the hub around agriculture because you're already producing macadamia, coffee, tea, this special economic zone is going to be the game changer. And therefore, James Mwangi, you have my appointment in this public forum to lead the way in making sure that we unlock those markets. And if we start in Murang'A, I know it's going to go to everywhere in Kenya. And therefore, let us make the next step. We are already seized with the requirements that are needed in that space. Let me also say this, that as we work with the counties, we want to ensure that we support the counties so that their full potential is understood nationally and internationally and appreciated.
But governments don't create jobs per se. It is very impossible for us to tell young people, come join county government of Murang'A to get jobs, because that then will mean our wage bill will expand. And it will reach a point it will be unsustainable. Jobs are created by private sector, you persons who are here.
Your Excellency, I had told these people earlier, because I have spoken, that for us to make good progress in terms of the layout and the plans for the governor must lead in the area of land use planning, so that our land, because it's not a lot, Your Excellency, can be properly, economically planned for purposes of development.
Manufacturing, as we all know, in Kenya is the #2 employer in this country, next to the public service. The public service estimates to employ about 500,000 people. Manufacturing sector employs close to maybe 370,000, if my data may not be completely accurate, or close to 400 at the highest. For this number to increase, if you look at our Vision 2030, when I was in Treasury, we used to have a target for manufacture to contribute to the GDP 15%. At about 2010, around 2010, 2011, around there, we actually got to about 10%. And thereafter we contracted, and we've never really been able to get back up. Right now, the contribution of the manufacturing sector to our GDP is about 7.6%, between 7.4 and 7.6%. So the potential for growth is immense. No country can industrialize if the manufacturing sector is not growing. And with the manufacturing sector growing, you see other sectors, service sectors, also growing because of the support structures that they give to the manufacturing sector. The food and accommodation, for example, investments also come in because industries have come